Welcome back to another video. I'm going to go over every single bet that I placed this past week. So that's going to be February 2nd through the 8th. And this was a pretty slow week. I only actually bet on 3 days out of the week. 3 of the days I was sick, still recovering from food poisoning from last week. So I just relaxed. I didn't put any bets in. And then I got back into it Thursday. And then Saturday, I didn't place any bets either. I let myself rest and I did extra research for the Super Bowl, which ended up paying off, as you'll see in a second. So let's jump right in. You can see exactly what I said. Monday, no bets. Tuesday, no bets. Wednesday, no bets. Our first bet was Thursday. So if I open this up, it was actually a loss, right? I loved this play, but you're always going to have those plays that you love and they still lose. So Jalen Johnson over 43.5 PRA paired with Duren over 9.5 rebounds. I put 2 units on this play. I've been loving the 2-unit precise plays. This would be the equivalent of 2% 1-unit play, $6,000 if I was to do 2% instead of 1% and 2 units. So 2 units, 1 unit, depending on your percentage and your unit sizing, it's really the same thing, but that is the most that I would go on a single play for sure. It's slightly different when you're only doing 1 play a day, which is really what I've been doing, and it's what has been working for me, especially last week. We had a crazy week. It's my best week in a while. And so I think that's what I'm leaning towards more, and it's about time where I redo my unit sizing because my bankroll has grown significantly since the last time that I did that. So anyway, jumping into this, for Jalen Johnson, he had a massive usage projection based on the lineup context. So this is how I always start these plays, is with somebody out. And this time we had Porzingis and Okongwu questionable entering the game. So he previously had 50-plus PRA in both games where those pieces were missing, indicating clear role expansion. And even when Okongwu played, he cleared this line in 3 of his last 5 games. So showing sustainable production regardless of the lineup. But we have not only Okongwu, but Porzingis in this situation. So the matchup profile versus Utah was perfect for the skill set. Utah's 30th in transition defense, and he's top 10 in transition scoring. Utah's 30th in rim field goal percent allowed, and he thrives attacking the rim. And Utah ranked 30th in assists allowed. Strong assist upside for Johnson's playmaking role. Historically, last time I played them, he had 63 PRA, which again reinforces that ceiling. And the process favored high usage breakout, but variance didn't land this time. Well, in this case, this play hit, but Jalen Duren's variance did not land. This Jalen Johnson play was really good. It's rare that we get a play that solid, to be honest. And this was a 1.52. I could have scaled this up even more. But the line had moved, and I missed the capture, so I ended up getting greedy by putting a 1.3 with Jalen Duren, and I could have gotten a better play, and that's my mistake. But this Jalen Johnson play, really solid. For Jalen Duren, he was averaging 10.7 rebounds per game with nearly 20 rebound chances a game. I love rebound chances. That is a great stat to look at for rebounds. He recorded 10-plus rebounds in 7 of his last 8 matchups versus Washington. And the Wizards are bottom 5 versus center rebounds allowed. He's averaging 14.9 a game in recent head-to-head sample. And his projection centered around 30-ish minutes if, all foul trouble is avoided. So good matchup data. And again, this came down to bad variance. So really love the Jalen Johnson play. Jalen Duren, I got greedy with the 1.3. Overall, really loved this play. Jalen Johnson was a perfect pick. Couldn't ask for a better write-up on this. And Jalen Duren, I just got greedy with the 1.3x. I should have gone with another play, even though it looked like a clean alt line to pair. Either way, that sets us up for Thursday. We had our first loss. So you can see Jalen Johnson hit. We went down $6,000 on the day. So at that point in the week, we are 4 days in and we're down $6,000. So I haven't been in that situation in a while. So I knew I had to turn it around on Friday, and that's exactly what we did. I took 1 play, only 1 unit on this one. I should have put more, but I didn't want to lose even more, and so I was kind of playing it safe for the rest of the week. I don't want to chase those wins. I don't want to chase those losses. So I typically size down unless I'm very confident in a play after a loss to reduce the bankroll hit. So for this one, Peyton Pritchard points and Paley Larson over 3.5 rebounds. This was a clean play. It was 3x. I don't often get 3x. Mostly it's a 2x, 1.98, somewhere dancing around 2x. 3x is a really good payout. So I put 1 unit, and I knew that if I put 1 unit, it would cover the loss of yesterday too. So I wasn't trying to be greedy and put 2 in case it lost and be down 12 grand on the week instead of possibly recovering and being break even for the Super Bowl. So for Peyton Pritchard, the major role change after Anfernee Simons traded shifted Pritchard into a scoring focused role. So we have that matchup change. He had a season-high shot volume with Brown and White into the bench rotations, and he played nearly every non-Brown minute, so maximizing his usage window. Shot volume trend, 20-plus attempts in both post-trade games, cleared scoring marks in 21 to 22 games when averaging 15-plus shots, which he obviously would be in this scenario. And Miami plays at the league's fastest pace, increasing total possessions and scoring opportunities. So volume-driven play built around the role change rather than efficiency reliance. So again, that role change, that's pretty much what my biggest trigger for finding these plays is a role change and then an efficiency reliance, So that was Peyton Pritchard. For Larson, he cleared in 6 straight, 7 rebound chances a game, strong conversion trends, so over in 15 out of 18 with 7 or more rebound chances, recording 3+ rebounds in 18 consecutive games under those conditions now. He logged 25+ minutes in 12 straight games without Tyler Herro. Roll stability increased, and his hit rate jumped to 10 out of 14 with 25+ minutes. So again, perfect alt line to pair with the Pritchard play, and Pritchard got 25, 24, and Larson cleared by 2.5. So we killed this. Easy win on a 3x. Love to see it. That brings us to $30 up for the week. So we had that negative $6 grand, and then we ended up hitting this for $9 grand 30, and we put 3 on it, so our P&L was $6,030. So we're up $30 on the week at this point. Going into Saturday, there was nothing that I liked on the NBA slate, and I never push it when there's nothing I don't like, especially since it's the day before the Super Bowl, and I wanted to take a little bit of an extra day to go over the stats, go over the lines, watch how things have been moving so I can place my bets Sunday morning bright and early. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't bet on Saturday, but I put in one play for Sunday, Drake May pass yards and Kenneth Walker receiving yards, right? So this was a crazy game to watch. Drake May didn't hit until like the very end of the fourth quarter, so that was stressful. I was still confident. I mean, they were behind so much, he has to throw. And the Kenneth Walker cashed, I don't remember. I think it was really early on in the game. So that was nice. So I was kind of just sweating out Drake May pass yards. But I really liked this play. I put 2 units on it at 3x, which is it's not often that I put 2 units on a 3x play because they're inherently more risky, but it paid out. We cashed for 18 grand, 360. So for Drake May, the previous game's lower production came in extremely poor weather conditions. So I viewed that as like an outlier. Rather than the true indicator of his passing volume. Entering this matchup, he averaged over 250 total yards per game, with a large portion coming through the air when game script forced passing situations. Patriots entered as 4.5-point underdogs, projected for a negative game script where passing volume increases, obviously, especially in second half situations. Seattle's defense structure typically limits rushing efficiency, which forces opponents to throw. Recent high yardage performances against Seattle, including big passing totals from comparable QBs, reinforced the matchup as one where the volume can spike. And this game had normal weather, apart from a little bit of a side wind, and expected dropback volume. So 221 was realistic, but on the lower end for a guy like Drake May. So I was confident. I was less confident once I started watching the game. I'm not gonna lie, he was not playing his best, but he redeemed himself at the end and almost cashed for 300 at the end there. Kenneth Walker this was a free pick. He cleared 4 of 5. His role expansion with Charbonnet out increased passing down usage. Patriots are bottom 10 versus running back receptions and receiving yardage. That's like their weakness, so he's going to be used there. And expected increase in screen passes and checkdowns aligned perfectly with Walker's usage. So these were just 2 solid plays. My favorite one is Drake May, even though Kenneth Walker ended up being our sweat-free pick there for that game. And that wraps up our production for the week. I only bet 3 times. That's very rare, but we ended up going up 12, almost 12 and a half grand on the week. So, not a horrible start to February. If you guys are wanting a book to place your bets on, I use Chalkboard for everything. They have the best customer service, but most importantly, new users, if you use code ZPX, you get $100 in promo for free and a half a yard pick to add to anything. So you can pair it with another leg, make a free 2-leg basically. If you want to start doing this, Chalkboard is the app to use. It is by far the best one, and you don't have to be 21 to use it. And you can still get basically straights with a 2x payout. If you want to use that, code ZPX gets you $100 and a free half a yard pick. You also get promo packs that you can open up every single day. It's like a booster pack. You get a daily one, and it's like profit boosters, 30%, 40%, 50% profit boosters, which is crazy for an under 21 book. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.